With the skew sharp, we can start turning. I've taken a block of basswood, roughed it down to a cylinder to practice the planing cut. To begin making the planing cut, you want to position the cutting edge of the skew at approximately a 45-degree angle to the workpiece. Draw a line for your reference. Now notice that the way I sharpened my skew this time was about a 30-degree angle. That causes the handle of the skew to be held at about a 15-degree angle to the tool rest. If I were to sharpen the skew at a 45-degree angle, the handle is much closer to 90 degrees. This does make planing easier. If I sharpen the angle closer to 0, the handle of the tool has to be placed at almost a 45-degree angle to the tool rest. Notice that no matter what the angle on the edge of the skew, the important thing is that the actual cutting edge makes approximately a 45-degree angle with the wood. Start by laying the tool on the bottom edge against the tool rest. Lay the tool against the back side of the bevel on the wood. Then raise the tool handle, pulling it as this until you're maintaining contact with the tool rest, the back of the bevel, and the front of the bevel. When you have contact with all three, stop raising the handle and push the tool forward. You'll notice a shaving. Try to keep your cut in the center third of the tool. That's this portion right here. If I'm cutting with the upper portion, the upper third of the tool, also called the toe, the corner will tend to dig in, causing a catch. If I cut with the lower third of the tool, it's unlikely that it will cause a catch. However, it will continue to dig deeper and deeper into the material. Using only the center third of the tool will minimize any catches and ensure a smooth cut. Once you've gotten the hang of this, switch the lathe on and repeat the process. Lay it on the tool rest, touch the back of the bevel to the wood, raise the handle, pulling it back slightly until it starts to cut in the center third of the tool. At that point, simply push the tool along. If you find that you're cutting in the upper third of the tool, tilt the tool over a little bit further onto the lower edge. If you find that you're cutting in the lower third of the tool, flatten the tool against the tool rest just slightly. Once you're comfortable going in one direction, flip the tool over and repeat the process in the other direction. The most common catch while making the planing cut happens while cutting on the upper third of the tool. At this point, the corner of the tool digs into the material and typically rips off a large chunk of wood. However, in this case, you notice it actually stopped the workpiece from spinning while my lathe is still spinning. That's because I'm using a dead center. The dead center, as opposed to a standard drive center, doesn't have any prongs. It's simply a round surface with a center point that's all affixed. These used to be used in the tailstock on older lathes. By adjusting the pressure from the tailstock, I can cause the piece of wood to rotate with the lathe. However, if I get a catch and the tool digs into the material, the wood will stop spinning while my lathe continues to rotate. This is a nice safety feature and minimizes any danger to you or any damage to the material. Aside from planing cuts, the skew chisel is capable of making other detail cuts such as V's. Start by laying the long point of the skew down on the tool rest, keeping the tool vertical at about a 90-degree angle. Keep a 90-degree angle between the edge of the skew and the wood. As you enter the material, you'll be cutting about here. Think of the view from the end. As with a clock, enter the material at about the 10:30 position. With each cut you make, always start cutting here, raising the handle, pivoting towards the center of the clock. Let's turn the lathe on and show you how that works. Tip the skew as close to the material, the handle is low. I'll raise the handle up until the handle is approximately level with the tool rest. Never raise the handle higher than the tool rest. After the first cut, swing the handle to the side. Move the tip of the skew over slightly from the initial cut. Enter the wood at about the 10:30 position again, only raising the handle. Stop at the bottom of the first cut. Then repeat a mirror image on the other side, placing the tip the same distance away from the first cut, entering the wood at the 10:30 position, and raising the handle so that the tip of the skew follows an arced motion. To make the V deeper, simply change the arc in which you're raising the handle. One cut down the left side, one cut down the right side. To make it wider, change the angle at which you've swung the handle. It may take a little practice to get both sides the same. The third and most challenging cut you can make with the skew is rolling beads. However, after practicing planing cuts and V cuts, you can combine those skills and easily roll beads. Begin rolling a bead by first laying it out with a pencil. Make 2 lines for the edge of the bead and make a center line. Then make V cuts on the 2 end lines. Since I just practiced V cuts, I can use these that I've already done. Lay the tool with its heel or short point down against the tool rest. Keep the tool at about a 90-degree angle to the workpiece. Make your cuts on the lower third of the tool using just the bottom corner. Start with the handle low, touch it to the back of the bevel so it's making contact with both the tool rest and the wood. Then raise the handle, sliding it backwards, just as we did with the planing cut. When it starts to cut, you roll and raise all at the same time. Start with a small radius right on the corner, then come back a little further and repeat the process. Laying it on the back of the bevel, raising the handle, pulling it back slightly just until the edge starts to cut, then roll the tool over, and raise the handle, making a slightly larger radius. Come back closer to your center line and repeat. The tool should end up completely vertical and should start completely horizontal. Once one half of the bead is completed, flip the tool over and repeat on the other side. Never remove your center line. This forms a visual reference for the center of the bead. As you can see, with a skew ground to the standard angle of about 20 to 30 degrees, it can be a little difficult to actually see the cutting edge whenever the tool is rolled vertical like this. That 45-degree angle skew, which worked wonderfully for planing cuts, increases the difficulty even more. When the tool is raised up vertical, I can't see the cutting edge at all. However, changing the angle closer to 0, as this one is, increases your ability to see when rolling beads. This would otherwise be called a beading tool. As you can see from this table leg, most spindle turnings are simply a combination of planing cuts, V-cuts, and beads. Sometimes V-cuts are a detail themselves or simply a means to making a bead. You can combine these basic skills to produce virtually any spindle you want.